Welcome everyone to today's live stream. So just confirm if you're able to get the good audio video on all the YouTube channels, then only we'll begin. For all for those who are watching on the Strike channel, please let me know if the audio and video is clear. For those who are watching on the all right, so we'll begin. Welcome everyone to today's live stream with Strike. So if you face any issues or any questions, just post it in the comment box. I'll be answering it. Just give me a minute and we'll start. Yeah. Are you getting the audio now? I think there was some issue in the audio, should now be fixed. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for the delay. So I was just discussing the uh, FNO data and all, and we had a look at FIS data. So I'll continue from there. I was just referring to the FI index open interest in futures, which is went from negative territory to now in positive territory. So we need to see whether or not they're able to build good amount of positions in on the upside now. In terms of the other indicators for the sentiment, very important indicator is put call ratio that is based on open interest. So we saw a big positive divergence here where the market made lower lows, but the put call ratio made a higher low, which is a positive divergence, and we are seeing a bounce that is started from there on. Now, this whether or not is it done or more upside is pending, that is what we will be diving deep into with the help of other charts. That is what we are seeing on the sentiment. And if I even like to look at the advanced decline ratio, you can see there were negative divergences that were building up, but now it has again made an higher high in the last few days. So Max is still strong. That is evident from the mid cap and the small cap index. So let's go into the diffusion index, diffusion indicators as well. So there also we observed many positive divergences, whereas the index was making a lower low. Many indicators like stocks above the 20-day were making a higher low. Same was visible in the stocks with a RMI buy signal and many others. So now important observation is that stocks above RMI, stocks with RMI buy is right now at 86, which is a very high reading. And previously you can see it has went even above 90 before we saw any significant pullback, or you can say consolidation in the market. So, but it is still high, so one can keep a watch on this one. Apart from this, no other indicator has actually gone into overbought territory as of now. So with that, let me go to the charts. So the Nifty index crossed above all the key moving averages that it was trading below since many days, and it has also crossed above a key trend line. That was this one. Overall, intraday action has been a lot. Yesterday, you can see it posted a doji kind of a candlestick. First, it went down, retested the trend line, and again came up. And in today's session as well, the open and close as of now is quite same at the same level, whereas the we have the upper and lower shadows. So volatility has been there. In terms of MACD, a good important visible sign in today's session is that it is crossing over to the buy side. You can see that. Actually, it crossed over yesterday's closing only because we closed on a higher part of the day, and the histogram is also positive. So this is a good sign for the market in the short term. In terms of the setup, yeah. So we are inching towards the upper Bollinger Band, which is at 19,625. Can be a short-term resistance. Otherwise, all the confirmations right now are in the green mode, as you can see. In terms of hourly chart, you can see that some bit of consolidation has kicked in. The RMI has gone into bearish territory, so one can wait to see whether or not this hourly average is hold or not. So the setup is pretty clean. In terms of Bank Nifty, it is still above the key 10 and 20-day averages, but it's below 30 and 40-day averages. So it is currently weaker than Nifty and even trading about more down than the Nifty. So Nifty is largely in the positive territory, but Bank Nifty is not. Uh, okay. I'll try in Hindi. Somebody is asking for me to speak in Hindi. तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि बैंक निफ्टी अभी निफ्टी से थोड़ा वीक लग रहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ हमारा प्रोप्राइटरी सेटअप जो स्ट्राइक में है डेली चार्ट पे all the signs were bullish, which is the RMI indicator, Dow Theory Trend, 20-day average or 40-day exponential average. But आज के सेशन में it is trading right very close to the 40-day average. So it it is important for it to close above this level. One needs to wait for that. In terms of hourly setup, it's similar to Nifty, but it is already at the hourly average support. So ये already अपना 20 hour और 40 hour average के पास है, which are the levels close to 44,400. So 44,400 should be a good support for the index. If breaks, one can be open to more downside in both of the indices. So let's go to scanners and try to use different scanners in Strike. If you have any questions, you can post. First, let's start with the seasonality. So I am selecting the indices basket as well as the FNO stocks. So you can see start date is from today and I'm selecting 30 days as the period. So what I'm getting right now, अभी मेरी स्क्रीन पे जो आप लोग देख रहे हैं, this is based on last 10 years का data, which stocks have a history to be performing in this next 30 days. That is from 5th September to 5th October. So that is how you can use the seasonality backtest. It is not a prediction, but it is actually a report of what has happened in the last 10 years. Based on that, you can do your analysis on the chart and have a list with on which you can work on. So if I go for only indices, so you can see 30 days from today, from 5th September onwards, the most bullish indices have been healthcare and pharma, right? And if you try to go, I am just going back to the heat map in between. And you can see today, healthcare and pharma are actually one of the top gaining indices today. So seasonally, next 30 days could be bullish for both pharma and healthcare. So we'll try to look at both indices also. And in the scanners also, we'll try to look at this sector, uh, you know, with respect to Dow as well as Rohit Scanner. So you can see अभी मैं डाउ ट्रेंड में हूँ which shows us the trend based on higher highs, higher lows, and lower highs, lower lows. And Nifty Pharma it's showing in uh, down to up category for today, which means price if closes above this particular level, it is hinting at a change in trend from down to up. आपको you can see on the chart also very clearly when the color changes from red to green, it is when the trend is changing. You can see here as well, there has been few dips, but once the Dow trend confirms, that is when a trend change signals has come. Now, other one was Nifty Healthcare. Healthcare also similarly, it is showing down to up signal. So these are two important observations because we have seen the same sector pop up in seasonality as well as the Dow trend. FMCG is also showing up in the down to up category. So this can also be a sector to focus on. So let's just select now Nifty Healthcare and Nifty Pharma Index in the scan itself. And I'll just disable and I'll choose only down to up. So now what we can see is within this indices, what are the few stocks that are giving the similar signal today. So just a disclaimer, since we are discussing stocks, I'm just trying to show you the approach of how one can do top down analysis and drill down to last few names and choose the stocks. So what we did was we checked the seasonality for indices for next 30 days, where we saw healthcare and pharma index coming in at top. Within that, now we are checking Dow Trend Scanner and we are seeing stocks which are giving down to up signal in today's session. So the names that are popping up on my screen, mainly Apollo Hospital, Oro Pharma, Glenmark, Ipca Lab, Lupin, Sanofi, and Sun Pharma. So what we did was we selected a sector based on seasonality, and then we tried to drill down into the Dow Trend Scanner. So with that, let's go to the RMI scanner as well and try to select the same indices. So I've selected the two same indices. Now note momentum can take some time to show up, but price is the one that confirms the first. So I'll try to see if there is any signal in this RMI as well. So there's two actually new buy signals visible. One is Pfizer and one is Sun Pharma. So that is how we drill down to two names. Now, this is not any investment or trading advice, but I'm just showing you how do I filter to few names using strike platforms. This is just one of the approach. Every user has different kinds of scanner they want to look on. Somebody wants to look at a moving average crossover. Somebody wants to look at some other indicator. This can be one of the approaches. So somebody likes to look at chart patterns, but now to arrive at chart patterns, one also needs to uh, have a list, right? So let's say we have filtered down to these two names. Now we can see a sort of a cup and a handle pattern in this stock. Let me take a bigger chart, or let's do on this one only. Let me go into the full screen chart. Yeah. So what I was saying is this can look like a cup and a handle pattern to some people. So now trading is an individual approach, what tools you want to use based on the setup. But using scanners, you can drill down to last few names in which you would like to trade or invest. So that is how this is one approach to filter few setups. So let me go to the other one, or let's go to the index itself. The indices were Nifty Pharma and Nifty Healthcare. Going to the daily chart. So this is the key change that we are watching. Dow Trend is changing from red to green, but there is not yet the RMI reversal, which can take some delay to come, and we can see it on the different stocks or different components of the index, which we saw on two of the names in today's session. Similarly, the healthcare index, very same setup here. Only difference is that it is already above, trying to close above 20-day average as well, and RMI is also very close to cross over to the bullish side. So this remains a good sector to watch out for in the short term. So yeah, come up with your questions if you have any, and we'll try to take everyone's questions. Uh, yes, Suresh, sir, ये live है. You can go to web.strike.money to use all this what I'm showing. आपको कुछ इशू आता है या कुछ फीडबैक है, you can always raise a ticket from help section and we'll help you. So I'm waiting for questions. If there are no questions, we'll wrap it up for today. Okay. There's one question popping up from Mr. Animesh on Axis Bank. Let's have a look. So I'm on the daily chart of Axis Bank. It has rallied well. Only thing is today it's hinting at a bearish signal on the 10-day average. In terms of the trading, the Rohit setup, let me look at the daily chart. So all the confirmations have been bullish since many days, but now the slope of RMI is hinging downwards. So in such scenario, one can always go to the hourly chart to manage if they already have a position, or they can wait for a fresh signal on the hourly chart to get into it. So you can see on the hourly chart also the RMI is into selling mode. One can wait for a fresh signal, or if a daily chart gives crosses over to the sell side, so that could be a sign for some consolidation or pullback. Uh, there's a question from Mr. Anis, why EMA and MA matters significantly. So it's nothing like that. Some people like to use SMA and some people like to use EMA. EMA is just a faster version of the normal average. Only thing is, since this is a proprietary setup of a founder, Mr. Rohit, in that setup we have been using 20 SMA and 40 MA since decades. So that is part of our own setup. In your setup, you may like to use 50-day average or a 100-day average, and that too may be simple or an exponential. So that is something that does not matter. That is one's how one is comfortable on which average. If there are any more questions, just let me know. So, last question for today, I'm taking again from Animesh, that is on Federal Bank. This is a relatively better chart than the previous one because it is trending upwards, and it is actually took support from the 10-day average instead of breaking it. If I go to the setup, then again all confirmations there are already in positive mode, and Dow Trend went into uh, down downtrend for 1 day, so it could be a whipsaw. But if we let's go to the hourly chart and see. So on the hourly, you actually got a new crossover in today's session, and since then Dow Trend had also been bullish, and it's above the hourly average. So in such a case, hourly averages can be used for trailing. So based on our setup, the 20-hour and 40-hour average are close to 143.6 and 143.3. So those two can be good trailing levels for the very short term. So thank you all for tuning in into today's stream. We'll wrap it up for today and we'll catch you tomorrow on same time. Thank you everyone.